Sharing the house with a ghost. Back in 2018, I was a young man, just graduated from my university, and fortunately, had found a job then in West City, a modern city. That was a small company and not a high-paid job, but that was lucky enough to me, still better than jobless. I had to try my best to save as much as possible, so I tried to find a cheap place to rent. I chose to rent a small room in a house next to my company. The house simply built some bedrooms for rent. Each of us had a small bedroom to stay in, a shared living room, bathroom, and kitchen. The landlord was an old lady in her 50s. We had a phone call before I came to see the room. My room was right next to the stair. There were 5 rooms there, a living room, a bathroom, and a kitchen in the house. The landlord knocked out a room. A male came to get the door, happily smiled at her. "Hello, Auntie Emma." Auntie Emma had told me that all of the tenants in the house were young, single, and just finished their studies. We all got a tiny budget for accommodation like me, so we would get lots of familiar to share the house. "Hello, Oliver. The empty room in the house is rented by this young man. I came to tell you the good news." The first one I met in the house was Oliver. "Hello, Oliver." "Hey, kid." He was a security guard in a mall and usually took his night shift. Before leaving, Auntie Emma told me, "Don't forget to clean up your room frequently and pay your rental fee in time. If there is anything, don't hesitate to give me a phone call." To be honest, I didn't like sharing my living space with strangers. Still, I could save tons of money and take advantage of sharing a house, such as I could share water and electricity fees monthly with them. "Might I know your name?" "I'm James. Nice to meet you." So I moved in. Oliver was accommodating and friendly, so I usually talked to him. Auntie Emma lived here in the past, didn't she? "Where did the others go?" "Why, there is only you in the house now. I'm taking my night shift only, so there is only me in the house at daytime," he replied. I thought I would easily pump to the others if I moved in. But that was not that. Everyone had their own life, so I barely communicated to the others. Just lightly greeting. There were merely 5 rooms in that 100 square meters house, but I was unable to see the others in 10 days in a row. I moved in 10 days, but I only saw Oliver in the house and no one else. Then I saw Noah. He lived with his girlfriend, but I didn't like his attitude. Every time I tried to say hi, he looked like he wanted to ignore me. Another tenant was older than us. That was William. He was a gangster who always got a violent temper, so I thought I would rather not cross the line to him. My room was next to Oliver's room and then Noah's room. The sound insulation of the house wasn't good, so I heard Noah and his girlfriend making love every night, which annoyed me so much. Every time I felt annoyed, I punched the wall badly, hoped Noah and his girlfriend could make it politely. While everyone was taking a rest at night, he shouldn't keep bothering the others. One time, when smoking with Oliver on the balcony, I brought it up to him. We talked about Noah. I raised my voice. "I'm really annoyed with their lovemaking sound every night." I meant Noah and his girlfriend. But Oliver just gave me a light smile. "Kid, give sympathy. If you had a pretty girl like her, you would do that every night." Come to talk about Noah's girlfriend. I have never seen her since the day I moved in. Weirdly, how beautiful she is. "I have never seen her," Oliver told about Noah's girlfriend with an envious voice. He told me that Noah wasn't a handsome guy nor got a high-paid job. But fortunately, he got a pretty and obedient girlfriend. Afterward, I felt very weird. Even though I had moved into the house for more than a half-month but saw no one. Looked like everyone had avoided seeing each other in the house. Regarding Noah's girlfriend, the more I heard from Oliver, the more I got curious about her. That was not like in my hometown. A stranger nearby is better than a faraway relative. The neighbors got even closer than relatives, but live in modern life, especially in the city. People seemed to be cool-hearted in real life. They were easily able to open up with a stranger on the internet, but not with the people nearby. Oliver and I also got very little chance to talk to each other. Still, every time we met up, we usually talked about Noah and his girlfriend, so I became more curious about them. One day, finally, I got a chance to see Noah's girlfriend for the first time. But not her face, just her back on the bed through the opening door. Right at that moment, Noah realized I was looking at his room, his girlfriend, so he slammed the door in my face with an upset face. His eyes were like he would like to kill me. That made me both embarrassed and annoyed. Embarrassed because I was like a talkative man and got caught, and annoyed because of his attitude. That was as if I would take his girlfriend away or something. I turned down his eyes and stepped toward my room. After then a few days, that was around 9 p.m., I was lying in bed and playing the game on my phone as usual. I heard William the gangster was screaming aloud in the living room. He smelt some unpleasant smell. What the hell is this smelt? I opened my door a little and stared out at the living room to see what happened. I wanted to avoid William, so I didn't want to come out. He still yelled out there. A moment later, Oliver came out and asked William, "William, what happened?" William was likely to have someone in his back. "Do you smell something?" "That is really horrible. Where the smell came from?" I didn't like William, but first had to accept the fact that there was an unpleasant smell in the house. Oliver said, "Yes, that is it. Might be there if someone forgot to bring their garbage bag out. I'll remind them then." Oliver advised William should come back to his room and stop yelling so that everyone could take a good rest at night. I backed to my bed and continued to play the game until 11 p.m. I came out to the bathroom. I turned the light in the living room and went to the bathroom. I got startled when seeing a female shadow standing in the bathroom. I saw her back and thought she was Noah's girlfriend. I tended to turn back to my room and waited for her to finish then. But I sensed something abnormal. Why was she standing there without the light on? I didn't hear the water sound, but she was standing in front of the mirror. Why was she standing there? It was too silent to hear the water counter sound in the bathroom. Curiously, I turned my eyes out to the bathroom. Since there was no light on, so I was unable to see what she was doing inside. But when looking down to her feet, I saw she was standing in a pool of blood. She was bleeding. Blood was pouring from her body. I was in a daze. What happened to her? Is she trying to suicide by cutting her wrist? "What are you doing, kiddo?" I got startled by Oliver's voice. "Noah's girlfriend, I saw her. She..." I sputtered and told Oliver what I had seen in the bathroom. I saw Noah's girlfriend in there, and blood was everywhere. "Who? Where?" Oliver looked towards the bathroom, but he was unable to see things like me. Once I heard that, I gave my eyes to the bathroom one more time. But the girl indeed was not there. There was no one in the bathroom. Oliver wanted to use the bathroom, so he pushed the door and spoke up, "Is there anyone here?" I came after him. I looked inside, and indeed no one there. Oliver teased me up, "Don't play online games too much. Your vision turned bad, kid." I ignored what he told me. My eyes gazed to the bathroom floor where I saw Noah's girlfriend before. There was no blood, even a drop, so I started to doubt my vision. Did I get dizzy? "Okay. Kiddo. Come out. I need to pee now." Oliver pushed me out of the bathroom. I heard his voice from the bathroom, "You gotta hit the sack early. Don't play games too much, you know, it's not good to your eyes absolutely." I still thought about what I had seen. I assured that I wasn't misrecognized, but I could not explain. Afterward, I backed to my room, then passed out. The following morning, I had been waked by William's voice. He yelled and knocked on Noah's door impolitely, "Noah. Noah, come out here." I was unsure what could happen. I swiftly wore my t-shirt and came out. There were William, the gangster, Oliver, and another tenant upstairs standing in front of Noah's door. I came to Oliver and asked, "What happened, Oliver?" "Look at the floor." Oliver asked me to look at the floor. Oliver and I looked at the floor. There were a bunch of wriggled maggots on the floor. Those maggots were crawled from Noah's room and brought a very unpleasant smell. We were all unable to imagine how the young couple could stay in a dirty room like that. Hearing the violent knock door, Noah opened his door a little, enough to show his head out with his tired voice. "What do you guys want?" William, the ganger, could not go easy on Noah. He stormed to his room and yelled at him, "What do I want? Your room's smell is very terrible." We couldn't stay still anymore. Right after he widened the door, the stench came badly to everyone's noses. We had to hold our nose to step in. What I had noticed was Noah's girlfriend was sleeping on the bed, her clothes and her posture just exactly like what I had seen the day before. Looked like she didn't move for days. "What wrong with you guys? My girlfriend was sleeping, see?" Noah was surprised and yelled back at us. "What are you putting inside your room? And make that stench? How could you guys live like this? Clean up. Don't let that unpleasant smell annoys the others in the house." William was saying to Noah and looking around to check where the stench from. Oliver also went around Noah's room to see, and all of a sudden, he looked at Noah's girlfriend in the bed. He was too frightened to stand. He fell off, backed on the wall, and called us out. Noah realized something. He rushed to the bed and tended to cover his girlfriend with the blanket. But I and William had enough time to go to the other side of his bed. William shouted aloud, "Noah, are you fucking out of your mind? Is this your girlfriend?" Right after I saw his girlfriend on the bed, I thought he might be insane. On the bed wasn't a human. That was a female mannequin. Noah was surprised when we could see the dummy. He got flushed. "Leave me alone. Get out of my room now." That was so funny to us. I didn't know Noah was a pervert like that. William let us out. He ridiculed us on the way out. "Let's go, guys. But you gotta clean up, Mr. Smelly." Once we got to the cabinet, all of a sudden, the cabinet's door opened. Something was coming out from the cabinet. Out of the blue, there was a dead female body falling out from Noah's cabinet. That was too fast for me to dodge. The dead body fell out at me. My legs were like jelly. I fell to the floor. The corpse was likely to be hidden on the cabinet for days. It started to decompose. There were many maggots around, and they jumped to my face. I screamed out loud, jumped out of my skin. I threw the corpse away. Oliver and the others pulled me up. Noah tended to escape from there, but William had detained him. You might guess what would happen next. We called the police. The case wasn't complicated. Noah was the culprit. He killed his girlfriend since she wanted to break up with him. She had died for days. Her body had been hidden in the cabinet since Noah found a place to destroy the dead body. He bought a dummy and placed it on his bed, backed out the door so that people thought his girlfriend was sleeping and still alive. To Oliver and William, the gangster, they had just a little scared, probably because they lived with a corpse for a few days, but to me, it was different. I got disgusted at William while after the corpse had felt at me. Even until now, I still got goosebumps and nausea when thinking about that, and I was very sure that particular night, I had seen Noah's girlfriend's spirit.